Welcome to the Wellness for Women show, where we talk about life, weight loss and everything in between. I'm Faye Caseman, founder of the AAA Way Life and Weight Loss Programme, and I'm here to help you put together the pieces of life and weight loss for one last time. This is an episode of the Wellness for Women show, filmed live in the free Facebook group. Are you getting enough sleep? That is. Let's dive in and talk about that in a moment. But I just wanted to mention that it is nearly the end of the month, so don't forget that every time you hit the thumbs, every time you leave a comment, Facebook is counting that behind the scenes for me, and so the person who is at the top of that leaderboard and on the last day of the month will win a voucher for Amazon. So don't forget to do all of the engagement, because it could be you. I said that there was going to be an exciting announcement today, so stay tuned until the end if you like yoga, because I have something to let you all know. Rightio. So we all know about how important it is to get a good night's sleep, but many of us don't really realize how crucial it really is actually to our overall well-being. So are you getting enough sleep? Let me know in the chat. Drop me a yes, drop me a no. Let me know whether you feel you are a good sleeper or not a good sleeper. Maybe you're exhausted right now. Maybe you've got a busy job, a busy home life, or both. Maybe you've got health issues that impact your sleep. Or, like I said, last week in the UK, we could be impacted by the heat, So what is going on for you? Let me know. Drop us posts in the Wellness for Women group. It is intended to be a safe space for you to get support, celebrate your wins, talk about what it is that you've got going on in life, weight loss, and everything in between. So use the space and take advantage of it. And so ultimately with sleep, if you are not getting enough sleep, your body can go into survival mode. Your metabolism can slow down, you can retain water, possibly more likely to crave unhealthier foods. Not that I categorize foods. Your body needs to sleep to restore itself physically and mentally, and it's when it does some of its most important jobs. The body does most of its important jobs. So it makes sense, right, that a lack of sleep can impact our physical and mental health. So keep on watching whilst we go through some tips. And if you, as usual, if you want the show notes from today, leave me a hashtag show notes. Want the details for my free weight loss program, leave me a hashtag food freedom, and I will send those out to you in Messenger. And I am if you're one of the members, one of the VIP members, I will be putting together very shortly an extended set of show notes, effectively a guide on sleep. There's already something in the membership on sleep and why it's important and how you can work on it, but I'm going to do something more robust, so that's something that you will be able to grab hold of in a membership portal near you soon. So, quick introduction from me for those who don't know me well enough yet. I am Faye Caseman, owner of the Wellness for Women group and founder of the AAA Way Life and Weight Loss Programme, where I help women find the balance in life and weight loss for sustainable weight loss. And as usual, if you want to know anything more about it, like I say, just drop me a message. My inbox is always open. So I say, that in sleep is important, but how important? And I say, maybe you do know, which is great, but I didn't when I started my weight loss journey. And so I thought that it might be helpful to come along and share that with you. It was definitely something that I paid lip service to, didn't really care about. I'd certainly had my fair share of late nights over the years, as you can imagine, partying, nights with friends, and back in the day for me, nightclubs. For those who didn't notice, it was my birthday this week. I was 21 again, so of course it's all very new and fresh in my memory. This can all be great fun, of course, and it's not to say that you can't have late nights, it's not to say that you can't have fun, it's not to say that you can't go to nightclubs, but ultimately these kind of things can take a toll on our mind and body if we're not careful. And so but again, back in the day, I used to keep doing it anyway because I just wasn't giving it any thought whatsoever. But one thing that I always did know really was that I wasn't really a night owl. Never been a night owl, not really, even in my youth. But it's definitely something that I would struggle with now. And I'm more aware now of how my body clock works, how my body works, especially with the old age and perimenopause. And so it's something that I really have to be quite conscious about nowadays, for my health, well-being, and general state of mind. But the point is, my body is not your body. You may still be able to party the night away and it may not impact you. Or if you are like I was, maybe you don't care. And that is also okay. Point is, you make your decisions, you own your life, your body, your mind, your body and soul, and it is up to you what you do with it. But if you are wanting to work on your health, your well-being, and or your weight loss, sleep is definitely one that you may have noticed in pretty much all of my lives, there's always a similar pattern to it. And so each topic that I pick, I always run you through it in my AAA way structure. So for those who haven't caught previous lives, my AAA way process is about awareness, action, and accountability. And the method is so simple. It literally fits anything that you want to work on in life and weight loss. And so it just makes complete sense that when I'm talking to you about all of these topics, that I'm going through that process in my head and I'm just bringing out little nuggets or little gems for you, for you to consider as part of it. So for this live, I thought that I'd make that a little bit more obvious. And so we are going to start with awareness. And so awareness, so how much sleep do we need and why is it important? So the answer is not simple, really, and there is no definitive answer. It depends on your sleep habits. It depends on your body. You may need anywhere between 7 to 9 hours of sleep at night. Most experts seem to agree the 8-hour mark is ideal, but what works for you? So I know for me personally, I can have quite a good day on six hours sleep. Anything less than 6 hours, I'm a little bit grumpy. Anything over 8.5, I'm a bit grumpy. So a bit like Goldilocks, there's a window of opportunity. There's a just right mark that will work for you. And so getting to know yourself, getting to know your patterns, your body, how you think and feel, is what's key here. And seeing how that shows up for you in your life, how if you do have less sleep than you normally have, does that impact how you physically feel, how you mentally feel? I say, just because somebody somewhere says that the ideal situation is X, it doesn't make it right for you. And this is what is critical for me and the AAA way process. It's about figuring out what works for you and what doesn't. So again, you again, if you've caught any of my other lives, you will know that I am not a huge fan of mainstream diets. So calorie counting, Slimming World, Weight Watchers, any of these, because ultimately somebody somewhere is telling you what to do. And as soon as I get told what to do, I feel very restricted and I don't want to do it. That's even if I'm telling myself. So you have to find ways to hack your brain, and the best thing is to decide what you want to do. And that starts with awareness. And with the right tools, you can gather your own awareness. And so if that's an area that you want to work on, and sleep is an area you want to work on, then you are the best person to decide. And let's face it, any studies that have been done to decide that 8 hours is the best thing, it will have been done on in a particular set of controlled conditions. Or again, we have, for example, the BMI scale, which was built all around a certain age of men. It wasn't built for women and people with different lives and this kind of thing, but society holds a big stall out for it. So again, in a world of misinformation, pick your own rules. So how could you find ways to gather the awareness that you need? So like I say, off the back of this show, I'm going to create something for a tool for my VIP members. And so I'm going to give you a little sneaky peek as to some of the things that I'm going to be putting in that. So still on the awareness track here. So like I say, you have to know where you are. So the starting point is about initial awareness, which again is the first module in the course. So you have to know where you are and where you are trying to get to. There's no point in just starting something if you don't know either of those points, because you don't know where you're starting and you don't know where you're trying to get to. So there's likely going to be in the pack that I'm going to put together, maybe there might be a tracker. So there is already a sleep tracker in there. But again, there could be an expanded version of that. You're going to need some kind of data. So there's going to be prompts that the members will be able to work through if this is what they want to work on. And again, we've got the dedicated support group, so again people can reach out in there for ideas as well. But again, it's about asking yourself questions such as, what's my environment like before and after I sleep? What feels good for you? What happens if you have more or less sleep? And what gets in the way of your sleep? So those are just a few things that you could consider asking yourself, just to sort of gather some initial awareness. And then from there might be more questions come out of it. And certainly, like I say, in the membership, when I put the pack together, then there is going to be a set of prompts that will guide members through that. But again, you can create your own rules should you so wish to do so. Next up, we've got action. So next step, once you've figured out where you are at the moment, where you want to go to, you've got to figure out how you're going to get there. And so it's all about action. And so there's going to be some suggested guides and action steps that people can take. I meant to actually go back through. Oh no, that's all right. I thought I'd lost my track there, but I haven't. Yeah, so in the pack that I'm putting together, there's going to be suggested guides and action steps, and there will be the ability for members to get coached. And then there will be an accountability section, so they can talk about it in the group, they can come onto the calls, because it's all about encouraging people to share with other people. So why is sleep important? I am going backwards. Never mind. There we go. Why is sleep important? So getting enough sleep doesn't just help with weight loss. It also is essential for overall health. If you're not getting enough sleep, it can lead to risks of all sorts of mental and physical health problems. So high blood pressure, heart disease, stroke, diabetes, mental health difficulties, weight gain, weight maintenance issues, food cravings, low immunity, mood problems, low libido, poor concentration, and difficulty regulating thoughts. I'm actually going to say that is quite a list, right? It probably does account for a little bit why I'm jumbled, actually. I'm having a tired day. Some days I have these days. This is something that I've learned about myself, is that I have days where I feel like I'm just dragging my knuckles on the floor. And that's not actually because of a lack of sleep. I actually slept really well last night. And like I said, I do prioritize my sleep hygiene. It's just something in the day knocks my energy out. And I'm working on that. I'm figuring it out, and that's all good. So sleep and weight loss. What about weight loss? So so it can impact your weight loss because it is something that like I say, can impact cravings. It can lead to all sorts of thoughts coming up. It's worth noticing that if you have poor sleep, do you end up with, like say, more cravings? Do you end up thinking more negative thoughts than you would do normally? Those are sort of the kind of things that can come up. And so again, it's really handy to find out what happens to you in these circumstances. So action steps, 5 possible action steps that you can take right now. So possible action steps: make sure that your sleep environment is dark, quiet and cool. Avoid watching television and working on computers before bed. So again, if you saw any of my posts, you will know I had a little bit of a dalliance with Bridgerton the other week. I don't normally watch TV, and then I ended up binge watching it. I didn't actually have a late night. It was more the fact that I was watching it too late, and what happens with my poor brain is that it goes into overdrive if I watch films or something too late at night, and then I end up having crazy dreams. You could look to establish a regular sleep schedule and stick to it as much as possible. You could look at avoiding eating heavy meals before bed. Sometimes, depending on when you eat your food, it can impact on your sleep and your digestion. And you can also practice relaxation techniques. And of course, if you do have a prolific problem with your sleep, then it is worth obviously checking in with a doctor. I'm not a doctor at the end of the day, and you can obviously look to speak to them if you need to. So again, those are just 5 tips. Again, I have a lot more that I will be putting together in my little brochure. So how could you create a bedtime routine perhaps that works for you? So one of the just trying to get into the thing there. So yeah, so as with everything I teach, the point is that you create a bespoke program for you. It's no good telling me telling you or anybody telling you that you should do X, Y, and Z. You know, say for starters, you're going to feel restricted. You're going to be less likely that you're going to want to do it, and it may not be what you actually need in the end as well. And so this is where you could actually use my 5Ds action process. So what those are is do, decide, discover, deal, and do again, to keep figuring it out. You can reach out to your community. You can reach out to this community for ideas. And of course, you could join the VIP membership as well. There's also other exercises that you can do, like thinking about what would be your perfect morning routine, what would be your perfect email routine, and so on and so forth. And then, as we say, it always ends with accountability. There is no point doing any of this if you're not going to actually do it. And so, like I say, now that you are more aware of how important your sleep is, and you've got a couple of tips there to have a think about, then it's about starting to make a commitment to yourself to start to make some changes. You know, so setting goals for yourself, making them super easy and super doable, and then holding yourself accountable to that. As I said at the start, in the membership, we've just been going through a 5-week intensive on our life goals, and the members have been taking some fantastic steps towards their goals. And a couple of them are working on their energy levels and how they can increase their energy throughout the day. And some of that has been about building back in morning routines and evening routines that they have done and that have worked for them in the past, but have perhaps just slipped by the wayside a little bit. But the important thing I say is to make some kind of plan for action and look to stick to it. And remember that it can take 21 days to form a new habit. So don't give up straight away. If you're not seeing results, just keep looking to go through it, which is why, again, that 5Ds of action process is actually really quite good. So you're just going to do it, and then you're going to decide what you're going to do, that you're going to do it, and then you're going to have a look and see whether that's working or not working. Deal with any kind of mental thoughts and that come up as a result of it, and then deal with those through some mind injury, and then do it again. Okay, so quick summary. So let's say getting enough sleep is essential for good health. Many of us don't realise how crucial it is. Not getting enough sleep can lead to health problems. It can impact weight, having difficulty losing weight, impact on body function, impact on mood. But there are good things that you can do today. You could start doing them right now, making sure that your sleep environment is conducive, thinking about, what you're putting into your body in terms of, food and alcohol and these kinds of things, and whether they impact your sleep. Making sure that you're getting some movement in, which again can help with sleep, and ultimately look to make a commitment to yourself to work on it. So again, I was talking to a friend earlier, and I was saying how I use hypnosis apps, and I've listened to them so many times now, I can actually just recite the start of it and I will send myself to sleep. So actually going to sleep's not a problem, typically for me. Also in the middle of the night, if I wake up and the mind's racing, as often happens, I have little processes that I take myself through. So I know that these kind of things can work, and so they are definitely all worth looking into, and that whole mindfulness part of it as well. So hopefully pretty soon you will find that your quality of sleep improves once you start to look at these things. I say gather some awareness about what's going on, start to tinker with it. Don't just accept the status quo is what it is. Look to try and actively work on it, hold yourself to it, and reach out to others for support, and I'm sure that you will soon see improvements. Thanks for listening. And don't forget, if you want to boost your life and weight loss the AAA way, check out the relevant links for today's show in the description. Speak soon.